So I've had several requests of people asking me to explain more about what I mean when I mentioned trading variables when it comes to negotiating your terms. So I thought I'd make this very quick video and explain. So you'll see here on the screen, I've got variables to trade and I've got variables to request. Now, the variables to trade are essentially the things that you can give or provide or relinquish for your client. The variables to request are the things that you want back from them. So the number one thing being that you're going to request is probably your full terms of business, be that 25, 27, 30%, whatever it might be. But there's lots of other things that we can look at as well. You'll also notice on there's a couple of columns. So when you've got your variables to trade, you've also got the cost to us, the cost to you as a recruiter, and then what value that thing will provide to the client. On the opposite side, you've got the variables to request from your client, so your full terms or whatever else it might be, exclusivity, the cost to the client, and then the value to you. So I'll explain a bit more, this might help. So one of the variables that you can trade, and remember some of this or large amounts of this are actually about perceived value. I think we do a lot of, as recruiters, we do a lot of work for the client without actually telling them lots of the stuff that we're doing for them. So you'll see here that one of the variables to trade is referencing. Now maybe that's something you do anyway, maybe it's not something you do. If it's something that you're doing anyway, then mention that as part of the service that you're providing. Now the cost to us to go and take a reference for a candidate that you're going to place, or maybe one that you're not going to place, one that you're going to put into a process, the cost to us is very, very low. In fact, there's a whole other training piece around how you can flip that into a business development opportunity. But actually the value for the client could be quite high value. It means they haven't got to do it. It actually provides lots of certainty, or far more security and certainty throughout the interview process if they've got a couple of positive references for that particular candidate. Something else that you might be able or willing to trade might be interview facilities. If you've got a city centre office and you've got a wonderful boardroom, why not offer that up as part of the service for the client to interview at your office, off-site, no distraction, beautiful environment. The cost to you, very, very low. If the office is there, it's being paid for, then obviously there's very little cost. The value to the client, perhaps that's medium value, maybe it's high value. For some of you, that might be very low value to the client. You'll see on the other side, the variables to request might be more business. So actually, as part of this, as part of this negotiation, what I'm going to request from the client is future business, a guarantee of I'm going to work with you on your next 3 roles. Now, the cost to the client there is low. If they're going to use a recruitment business to fill these roles anyway, then the cost of them is very, very low anyway, because that was already going to be there. Now the value to us for future business with a client, obviously there's other variables at stake here depending on the quality of the client, but for most cases that would be high value to us. Something else that you could request might be an upfront payment. That might be a half now, half on placement, something like that, like a semi-retained kind of model. Now the cost to the client is very, very high there. The value to us is very, very high there. The key to this is going through and thinking about everything that you are able to trade, and then putting an associated cost to that and a value to that. After you've done that bit, go through all of the things that you can request from the client, and then the cost to the client, and then the value to us. What you'll hopefully end up with is something that looks a little bit like this. I hope that helps. Any questions, do let me know.